What FBI found in Gene Hackman's mansion will leave you shocked.
Good afternoon, and thank you all for being here today. I'm Jennifer Labar-Tapia. I'm Santa Fe Film Commissioner.
Gene Hackman, one of the most celebrated actors in Hollywood history, has passed away at the age of 95. Known for his powerful performances in The French Connection, Unforgiven, and Superman, he was a two-time Academy Award winner and a legend of the silver screen. However, his final days were far from the glamorous world of Hollywood. When police and FBI agents arrived at his secluded mansion in Santa Fe, New Mexico, they uncovered a shocking scene that no one was prepared for. The mysterious circumstances surrounding his death and that of his wife, Betsy Arakawa, have left the world searching for answers. How could one of Hollywood's biggest stars, known and loved by millions, pass away in such an eerie and unexplained way? Let's dive deep into the bizarre and chilling case that has stunned the world. A fateful discovery at Hackman's mansion. On a quiet morning, two maintenance workers arrived at Gene Hackman's luxury estate in Santa Fe for routine upkeep. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary until they noticed something deeply unsettling. The front door of the house was wide open. Concerned that something might be wrong, they cautiously stepped inside. What they found would haunt them forever. Inside the sprawling residence, the lifeless bodies of Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, lay undiscovered for what seemed like days, maybe even weeks. Adding to the horror, one of their dogs was found dead inside a crate, while two others were still alive, roaming around the house. The air inside the mansion was heavy with an eerie stillness, as if time had stopped. Investigators arrive, and the mystery deepens. Authorities were called immediately. When the first responders arrived, they were met with one of the strangest scenes of their careers.
Not find any signs of forced entry, and the fire department and gas company didn't find any obvious signs of a gas leak or carbon monoxide.
Initial reports suggested the possibility of carbon monoxide poisoning, a silent, odorless gas that can kill without warning. But when the gas company arrived to check for leaks, they found no traces of carbon monoxide anywhere in the house. This raised an unsettling question. If carbon monoxide wasn't responsible, what was? And then came even more bizarre discoveries, strange clues that don't add up. As investigators searched the house, they found a series of puzzling clues that only made the case more confusing. Gene Hackman was found near the back door. His sunglasses were lying beside him as if he had collapsed suddenly. Betsy Arakawa was discovered in the bathroom, surrounded by scattered pills. An open prescription bottle was found near her. A space heater had been knocked over. Could this have played a role in what happened? The front door was wide open when the maintenance workers arrived. Did someone leave the house before authorities got there? With no obvious signs of forced entry or struggle and no indications of foul play, the authorities were left with more questions than answers. FBI steps in, and what they find will shock you. With so many unanswered questions, the case was escalated to federal investigators. The FBI was called in to conduct a deeper probe into what really happened inside Hackman's mansion. What they found shocked even the most experienced agents. One investigator, who spoke anonymously, described the scene. "You think you've seen it all in this job, but stepping into Gene Hackman's home was like stepping into a nightmare. The condition of the bodies. I've never seen anything quite like it." Authorities confirmed that Hackman and his wife had been deceased for multiple days, possibly even weeks, before being found. The question was, how could a world-famous actor and his wife go unnoticed for so long? Even stranger, the presence of two surviving dogs suggested that food and water had still been available for some time. The entire case felt like a mystery ripped straight from a Hollywood thriller. Theories behind the mystery. What really happened? As investigators worked tirelessly to piece together the puzzle, several theories began to emerge. Some seemed more plausible than others, but none provided a definitive answer. 1. A sudden medical emergency? One of the most logical explanations was that Hackman suffered a sudden medical event, like a heart attack or stroke. At 95, Hackman had a history of heart-related issues. In 1990, he had undergone angioplasty, a procedure to open a blocked artery near his heart. If he had collapsed suddenly, it could explain why he was found near the back door. But this theory didn't explain why Betsy Arakawa was found separately in the bathroom, surrounded by medication. Was she trying to help him? Did she suffer from a medical emergency herself? 2. A mutual decision? Another theory suggests that the couple may have made a decision together about their final days. This could explain why there was no sign of struggle or forced entry, but it doesn't explain why they were found in different locations. Typically, in cases where two people make such a decision together, they remain close to each other. Why was Betsy in the bathroom while Jean was near the back door? Could she have been trying to call for help? 3. Was someone else involved? Perhaps the most chilling theory is that an unknown third party was involved. Though there were no obvious signs of forced entry, the wide-open front door was a disturbing clue. Had someone been inside the house? If so, why were no valuables taken? And why was there no evidence of an attack? Could the couple have been threatened or manipulated in some way? The family speaks out. New clues emerge. As the world speculated about what had happened, Gene Hackman's daughter, Leslie Hackman, broke her silence. Even at 95, my father was still strong. He didn't have any serious health problems. This doesn't make sense to me. She also spoke about Betsy's devotion to Gene's health. She took care of him. She made sure he ate well, exercised, and stayed active. Whatever happened, it wasn't because they weren't looking after themselves. Her words only deepened the mystery. If Hackman had no serious health concerns, and if Betsy was actively taking care of him, then what exactly happened inside that house? Gene Hackman's legacy, a Hollywood legend with an unanswered ending. Gene Hackman's career spanned decades, making him one of the most respected actors of all time. His performances were powerful, his talent unmatched. But in his final days, his life became a mystery that even the best screenwriters couldn't have imagined. Authorities are still waiting for the full autopsy and toxicology reports, which could take weeks or even months to complete. Until then, the world is left to wonder. Did Hackman suffer a sudden medical emergency? Did Betsy try to help him, only to suffer a crisis herself? Or was there something much darker at play? As investigators work to uncover the truth, one thing is certain. This is a case that Hollywood and the world will not forget anytime soon. Gene Hackman's final days, unraveling the mystery behind his shocking death. Gene Hackman, a name synonymous with Hollywood excellence, left behind a legacy that will never be forgotten. With a career spanning more than 6 decades, he starred in some of the most iconic films in cinematic history, from The French Connection to Unforgiven to Superman. But his final days have become the subject of one of the most baffling mysteries in recent memory. In Part 1, we detailed the shocking discovery inside Hackman's Santa Fe mansion, the FBI's involvement, and the conflicting theories surrounding his passing. Now, we take a step further. What did the autopsy reveal? Were there any warning signs that something was wrong? And what do Hackman's closest friends and family have to say? Before we dive in, let's hear from you. What are your thoughts on Gene Hackman's mysterious final days? Do you believe it was a natural tragedy, or is there more to the story? Let us know in the comments below. The life of a Hollywood legend, where it all began. Before we get into the mystery of his passing, let's take a moment to appreciate who Gene Hackman was. Born in San Bernardino, California in 1930, Hackman's journey to fame was anything but conventional. He joined the U.S. Marine Corps at the age of 16, lying about his age to enlist. After serving for nearly 5 years, he left the military and worked a series of odd jobs before finally pursuing acting in his late 20s. His big break came with Bonnie and Clyde, 1967, where he played Buck Barrow. His performance earned him an Academy Award nomination, catapulting him into stardom. Over the next few decades, he became one of Hollywood's most respected and versatile actors, effortlessly transitioning between genres. But despite his professional success, Hackman was always a private man. Unlike many of his peers, he never craved the limelight. In 2004, after his final film, Welcome to Mooseport, Hackman did something few actors ever do. He walked away from Hollywood for good. So what did he do in retirement? Hackman found joy in writing novels, painting, and living a peaceful life with his wife, Betsy Arakawa. For nearly 2 decades, he remained largely out of the public eye, until his tragic and mysterious passing in 2025. The autopsy report. What did it reveal? In the weeks following Hackman's passing, fans and investigators alike were desperate for answers. The biggest question remained: what caused his and Betsy's deaths? When the autopsy report was finally released, it provided some answers, but also raised more questions. Key findings from the report: no evidence of foul play, meaning they weren't attacked. No signs of external injuries, ruling out an accident. No presence of carbon monoxide, eliminating early speculation about gas poisoning. Toxicology tests showed traces of prescription medication in Betsy's system. One detail stood out: the presence of scattered pills in the bathroom near Betsy's body. Some theorized she may have suffered a medical emergency after taking medication, while others speculated whether a dosage error played a role. But if Betsy's passing was due to medication, what about Gene? His cause of death was ultimately ruled as natural causes, likely from a sudden cardiac event. Given his age and past heart issues, this wasn't entirely surprising, but it still didn't explain why his wife passed away so soon after. With 2 separate medical conditions affecting both Gene and Betsy at nearly the same time, it was difficult to determine whether their deaths were simply an unbelievable coincidence or something more. What Hackman's friends and family are saying. In the wake of his passing, those who knew Hackman best have spoken out, sharing memories and reflections on his final days. His daughter, Leslie Hackman, described the experience as unbelievably painful and admitted that even she is struggling to make sense of it all. My father was 95, but he was still strong. He still got up every morning, did his routine, and enjoyed his days. This wasn't expected, not like this. Leslie also addressed her stepmother Betsy's health, stating, "Betsy was the most loving, caring person I've ever known. She always put my father first, making sure he was taken care of. She wasn't sick. That's why this is so confusing." Even some of Hackman's closest Hollywood friends have spoken up. Clint Eastwood, who worked with Hackman in Unforgiven, shared an emotional tribute. "Gene was one of the greatest actors I've ever worked with. He had a toughness to him, but he was also one of the most dedicated and disciplined people I knew. It's heartbreaking to lose him like this." Morgan Freeman, who starred alongside Hackman in The Quick and the Dead, added, "He was one of the last greats from his era. We've lost a legend, and I only wish we had more time with him." A life well lived, but an ending that leaves questions. Gene Hackman's legacy is undeniable. He was a Hollywood giant, a man whose performances captivated audiences for generations, but his final days remain a mystery. Why did Betsy pass away at the same time as Gene? Why was the front door open when their bodies were discovered? And will we ever truly know what happened inside that Santa Fe mansion? The official cause of death may have been determined, but for those closest to Hackman, the unanswered questions linger. His daughter Leslie summed it up best. "At the end of the day, I just hope people remember my father for who he was, not for how he passed. And that is perhaps the greatest truth of all." What's next, and how will Gene Hackman be remembered? With Hackman's passing, Hollywood has lost one of its last true icons. He won 2 Academy Awards. He starred in over 80 films. He left a lasting impact on cinema that will never fade. His films will continue to inspire new generations of actors, and his presence on screen will always be felt. But his death has also left the world with an unsettling mystery. one that may never be fully explained. So, what do you think? Was it truly a natural passing? Or do you believe there are still unanswered questions? Does the timing of their deaths feel like a tragic coincidence? Or is there something more? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Share your theories in the comments below. And if you want to stay updated on shocking Hollywood mysteries, don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into stories like this one. Gene Hackman may be gone, but his legacy and the mystery surrounding his passing will live on forever. Final thoughts. A mystery that demands a second look. Gene Hackman's life was filled with legendary performances, iconic roles, and a Hollywood career that few could rival. But his final days remain clouded in mystery, leaving fans and investigators alike searching for answers. With no clear explanation, each clue raises more questions. Was it truly just a coincidence? Or is there an untold story waiting to be uncovered? This is the kind of case that makes you want to go back and examine every detail again. If you've made it this far, we encourage you to rewind and take another look at the shocking discoveries inside Hackman's mansion. You might notice something you missed the first time. What do you think really happened? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into Hollywood's most perplexing mysteries.